Hello everybody and welcome. My name is Tatiana and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia, and welcome to my creativity time. Normally 10 a.m. on a Wednesday, but this week I had to go on I chose to go on a school excursion with my little man, and so I'm doing it on Thursday. Thank you so much for joining me. Do say hi, leave comments and questions, ask questions. I love questions, love to share my tips and tricks, and sometimes I don't know what I'm doing is a good tip unless you question it. So if you have a little red live there, you know that you're watching me live. If not, and if you're watching on YouTube, that's okay. I do check all the comments and questions, and I'm happy to answer. It's final month of Sale-A-Bration, and that means extra product for you for free with every $90 purchase. And today we're going to use some of the Sale-A-Bration products because they're so cute. And I'm going to show you how I do my offset wreaths. I've used them a few times in my blog and on projects, and I've been asked how I use my template because I've shared my template. So that's what we're going to do today. So let's head to the craft desk and get stamping. So I have my Stamparatus all set up here, but the main thing is I'm going to show you the stamp set. So we're going to be using the Thoughtful Blooms stamp set. It is a free Sale-A-Bration product if you spend $90 in my online store, which I'll put the link in after this video and talk about that. And we will also use, just grabbing it. Hello Sherry, thanks for joining me. Taking a time, ooh, you packing and moving. Ooh. Yay, Roz, you've got me live, wonderful. We're also going to use the small bloom punch, which is a free, ooh, you can see my reflection. It's a free product when you spend $180 or more. And here's my template. This is something I've created and I've shared on my blog. And I've drawn up, it's, I guess, a little bit complicated, but all the squares or the rectangles are going around, and they are numbered in the top left hand corner, and they're suited for a card front, which is 10 centimeters by 14.35 centimeters. So that's 5 millimeters smaller than this standard card front. And I've got some hints here on how. So basically, you can see the corners all go around. I've labeled the corners, and you'll be creating a circle around this point here. And because that circle point is that middle, but when you look, when I place the paper, you can see that that middle is not the middle of the cardstock. Hope that's making sense. Morning, Vicky. How are you? So that means that the circle, the wreath, will go around the piece of paper, with that being the focal middle point. And that's what causes the offset. You can still do the offset wreath with a larger square piece of cardstock and then just trim it down. But I found it hard because then it was getting into the corners over here, and I had to squish my cardstock, and then I'm cutting away bits that I don't want to waste. And so I just found this, I drew up my own template. I will need my other magnet. So just pulling that up from the back there. Make sure that's in the corner and that stays in place. I also have the foam mat underneath because we'll be using photopolymer stamp, so it needs that extra padding because they don't have like the red rubber, the foam. And I've got a plate all ready to go. And now I'm just going to pick a flower. Let's start, let's see, this is the stamp set. We'll start with the bigger flower. And just bringing that up slightly so you can see. You don't have to place it, you can place it anywhere you want, but I do have that little guide, so I'm going to place it about yay. Actually, I do like, no, that's fine. So I've placed it there, and I think it would be fun to use the 2000 and, what are they? Oh, brain's not working this morning. We're going to use the, oh, it doesn't say it. So these are ending this year, so that'll be 2018 to 2020 in colours, because we're only going to have these around for a couple more months. So I've got the outline one, perfect. So we're just going to ink up our stamp and stamp, and then rotate. Let's put in the corner. So I've always put the same corner into the numbered spot. And we're going to start forming our wreath. It's number 3 now. And always put down the magnet. I could have laminated this, but I don't have a laminator. Ah, dobre utro. Thank you, Megan. Yes, you have been, Vicky. I've noticed some beautiful work. Oh, forgot to rotate. Dobre utro, Megan. Thank you. Good morning, Megan. In case anyone doesn't understand what we're saying. I see you've been learning alongside with your son. I am going to just grab my chamois and wipe that excess ink so that I don't get it on my work. And 4. Now, because it is an offset wreath, you're not going to use all 8 spots, you can say, but I've included all 8 because that way you can start in any position, and that would change the location of the wreath. And let's see, that's number 5. Will we get a cut-off one? I think that's going to be one that's, yes. So I don't want to mark my template, so I'm going to slip in a piece of just scratch paper. See, I've already got some stamping on the back of here. Google translated that. Very good. Good old Google, hey? They're great colours, Vicky, aren't they? I am going to miss them. Particularly lovely lipstick, which is what we're using right now. It's such a beautiful pinky red colour. So I did start in number 1. You could start, I probably should have put number 1 there. I might update that, because that would make more sense to start. Well, I don't know, it doesn't necessarily make more sense. Okay, anyway, enough rambling. We've got our lovely lipstick, and I'm just going to wipe that, and while it's still freshly inked, you can see as I'm pressing the stamp cleaner, I should bring up that, the stamp cleaning pad, you can see that the color is the staining that was remaining there being lifted away. And the sooner you use it after stamping, the better it lifts off that stain. You love lovely lipstick, yep. Oh, I'm missing some comments. There's been replies. 6 in the evening for you. Good evening, dobry večer, as you would say in Russian. Now let's do another flower. Going to do this lovely flower, and we're going to put it right there, and I'm going to do 2 flowers at once, both in the, what's it called, Grapefruit Grove. I was going to say Gorgeous Grape, but that's wrong name. The key thing is to always rotate around the same corner. You could put a little pencil mark there if you wanted to. I'm used to not using the pencil mark. So inking up those 2. Very pretty. Number 3, since we started at 2. And it's quite a quick process. If you were to make multiple cards, this would be a really easy way. So I know that there is a number of stamps per card, but you do each color stamp for each piece of cardstock at the same time before you move the plate or change, or because the Stamparatus essentially has 4 plates. You can 1, 2, 3, 4 on the other plate. So you could set up each one and have them all ready to go and then do each one individually. Whichever way you'd like, really. I tend to just do all the pieces, bits per piece. Just going to wipe those. I'm always scared of that extra ink showing up on my work. And one more, 6, 7, because there will be, let's see, 7. Don't need to ink the big flower, just the little flower. There, and hold on, then 8. Nope. What about number 1? Just always make sure there might be a edge caught. Yep, see? I knew that would be a little bit more. Just inking that one up and stamping it. There. So we're building a very cute wreath already. Thank you, Vicky. I've got to say I'm loving it too. Can I say that? Am I allowed to say that about my own work? I did get a finger mark there. Okay. Let's... And basically, I like to start, so when I'm doing wreaths, I like to start with the bigger flowers because they take up more space, and then you can start adding fillers, basically, in. Ooh, let's do this. Okay, place that. I'm going to keep starting at 1 because I'm used to starting at 1. And I'm going to place that here. Might even pick that up so it doesn't move. So I'm going to be adding that spray of a branch, which will then add those little dots to. But I'm going to grab this leaf, and you don't want to add a second. So if you're going to do 2 sets of stamps at the same time in the same color, I tend to find that it's best to add 1 to the inside of the wreath and 1 to the outside, and that way you know that they're not going to overlap. Oh, I totally have no idea what you're referring to, Vicky, when you say yes you are. Oh, my comment of, I think I like it. Thank you. So I am putting this leaf into that flower there. And we know that those 2 aren't going to overlap, but we can stamp them at the same time because I want them both to be green. Better close that, which is the Call Me Clover Green. I'm going to try to put all 5 colors into this. Let's see if we can do it. There we go. Very cute. And once you get into the groove of things, it's quite easy. 3. Bing, bang, boom. I do like the stamping ink spots, but I haven't made any in these colors. They're always a fun way, easy way of using small stamps on the Stamparatus, and you get less ink. I missed the beginning. It's a template I've made. It's my own, and it's up on my blog. And when I publish this particular project on my blog, I will put an updated version with the 1. Oh, mind you, Elfie, my current template is sized for Australian A4 paper, not letter. So just be mindful of that. That's not going to stamp on the paper. I know that there will be another bit that will stamp because I can see the leaves are missing. Right here. Perfect. So we're really building. I want to do a really full wreath. You have to go, don't apologize. Megan, never apologize. If you have to go, you have to go. Enjoy your day. Have a wonderful day. And you can catch the replay. Absolutely. Yes, I do have the template already on my blog, but it is in A4 in the size that I have written right there, which you probably can't see. There. So there's that. Let's do the berries. I'm going to place that on the one. Yep, taking those off. I'm calling them berries. I don't know if they're berries or if they're not berries, but I'm calling them berries. There's this, and it should match up nicely. So if you just spend a little bit of time placing that. So, perfect. And now I'm going to use blueberry bushel. I should have ink removed, stain removed these others, but that's okay. So there's a little bit of work with wreaths, but they create such stunning end results that I really think they're worth it. Whew. The fan behind me is not working and it is hot. Hot, 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 humid in here. Let's see. Stamp. Isn't that beautiful? Oh. I do want to add some yellow flowers as well and then I'll show you what I really like to do to step my wreaths up, which we'll do after we finish all the stamping. And the reason why my template hangs off the edge, off the edges here of the Stamparatus, well, the beauty is that the Stamparatus has that open edge, but the reason for me doing that is so that when I am in this position, my paper isn't being caught into this. I can still keep going, and my cardstock isn't being caught, and it doesn't matter when your cardstock hangs off the edge there, but it does matter if it's going to get interfered with right there. I should put that scrap piece of paper. See what I mean by interference. There we go. I want to add another small flower. I'll give that a clean. And let's give that some extra cleaning to remove the staining. I'm a little obsessed with trying not to have too much staining on my photopolymer stamps now. It is pretty obsessive. Line that back up. Oh, we haven't done this tiny little flower. Or shall we do... I think we'll do this one. Very cute. Okay, and that we're going to do in Pineapple Punch. Had to think about it. Pineapple Punch, which is a very beautiful, bright yellow. So it's very subtle, but it's very sweet. So the wreath template basically has 8 spots, even though we don't see all 8 because of the offsetness. Is that a word? Offsetness of my template here. But if you wanted to have more, so something as small as the current stamp that we're using, you could potentially on a full wreath have it going around 16 times, not just 8 times. And I'm going to show you how you can do that with this template. See? Oh, no, wrong spot. Where is it going to go? There. Put that like that. There we go. Just give that a quick clean. And now all you do is rotate it, put it somewhere else. I could potentially put it right there, and that gives me 16 spots all the way around. Sorry, I'm just stopped to pause to read Vicky's comment. I love the design you're doing right now, but I totally can't get it right. Thank you very much for the template. You're very welcome. I'm hoping that you're saying that the template's going to help you. And yay! Is my response. So I'm going to add some yellow to the inside as well, just to tie it in. And then the next bit we're going to use blocks. I could use the Stamparatus, but it is a photo. I'm talking as if you know what the next bit is. I want to stamp on the full flower and the leaf into these ones, but stamped off. And you could do that with the Stamparatus because you know it will line up. But for things like that, I still prefer to use the block and eyeball it, simply because I don't think we need that one. Oh, apparently we do. Simply because it'll be quicker, particularly with the stamping off that I plan to do. Hold on. What about number 5? Aha, that makes more sense. So we're starting to see the full inner circle. So the tighter, the more inside. What's the right word there? I don't know. As in towards the center point, as you put the stamps, the tighter the circle will be. The further from the middle rotating point, which I probably should just add into the template. So that is the middle point there. The further away from that is the bigger the circle you'll be creating. Ah, you're welcome. Thank you, Kathy. Clean that up. And let's take this, put that to the side. And now I'm going to, as I've already saying, put that onto a block. I'm going to stamp off the lovely lipstick and then stamp into the flowers. So I'm just going to use this scrap paper. I do like to put a bit of, so this is the standard mat that comes with the Stamparatus, and it's always good to put that underneath when stamping with photopolymer because it needs that little bit of cushioning. So I'm going to stamp off and line that up. Perfect. Stamp off, line that up, stamp off. So just take your time when you're doing this. Of course, the lining up would be much better if I use the Stamparatus, but because I want to do the stamp off, it's going to be a pain with the Stamparatus, stamping off onto a piece of paper, then moving in the piece of paper, and so I thought it would just be quicker doing it this way. And don't want to get ink on my foam mat there. Was that all on screen? Whoop. Perfect. Give that now. Look how stained that is. Oh, onto the white. Can you see how stained that is? So I'm going to give it a wipe down with water. Still very stained. Now tap, tap, tap the more you tap, you can see I can stamp off some of that. It's not going to take it all off, particularly with Lovely lipstick, because it's such a red color that, but you can see how much lighter. Oh, even in fact on the video when I look on screen, that is so practically not stained. To me, it's still too pink. It's ever so slightly pink. Now, just remember to tap into this cleaning pad. Don't swoosh and swirl into the cleaning pad, because that's how you get rips into the cleaning pad. I have gone through one cleaning pad already and asked me how I know. So there we go. That's so much cleaner. It's not that bright pink that it was a minute ago. So how awesome is that? Don't need the Lovely lipstick. We'll close that, grab the Call Me Clover, and now I'm going to grab the full leaf here, and we're going to do the same. Stamp off and fill in. You can get into a rhythm stamping off with a, and you're just rotating your block a little bit each time, or you can rotate your paper. Hey Christy, thanks for joining me. How are you? Stamp off. Stamp off. Oop. I really love that we can stamp in the color. Whew, that is colorful. Very bright. Now, one thing I really like to do with my wreath, so you could just stick that onto a cardstock and bing bang boom, there's your card. Add a sentiment, which we could do the thank you in the middle. Let's do that. Let's put the thank you in the middle. Take that. And I'm going to do the thank you in Blueberry Bushel, just to tie in those berries. Perfect. And you could leave that wreath as is. The way I like to kind of take my wreaths to the next level is by adding another layer. And by that I mean adding another row of flowers that are up on dimensionals, and that's where our punch is going to come in handy. So I'm just going to grab scrap Whisper White. Ooh, that's thick. Whisper White thin. So I've kept bits from die cuts that I've done, and I'm going to just stamp on them. We need about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll stamp about 6. I'm just trying to choose my color. And I try to repeat something that's in the current pattern, but perhaps using a different color. So we're going to go with this one. Flip that. And we're going to go with the Grapefruit Grove. Ooh, sorry, bing bang, crash bang. Bring in the pad. Hello Jenny, thank you for the comment. Grapefruit Grove. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 just in case we need it. 6. Like that. But I'm going to make this flower a little bit different. I'm not going to use that full, so I'm going to put that. So this is the stamp we use to color or fill in the big flower. I'm going to use the one size smaller, and I will still stamp off. Line that. So it's a little bit of a different flower. Same but different. Could have used a different color for this as well. Could just have stamped the full strength as well, being different. So I'm just taking my time in lining that up because I'd be happier when it's perfectly lined up. So there's never a rush with this. People say, I can never get it lined up properly. It's just take your time. It's not a running race. I am using, so for those who are joining, I'm using Sale-A-Bration items, which you can get free in with purchase. I'm using the Thoughtful Blooms, which is a level 1 Sale-A-Bration item. Here in Australia, you need to spend $90 to get this stamp set for free. Okay, let's put that all to the side. And, oops, let's punch out our extra flowers. So it's a cute little punch. All you have to do is line up. So when you use your punch upside down, you get to see exactly where you're lining it up. And see, it's gripped. I can pull, but I'm not punching. So that's what I'm using when I'm lining up. I'm using that kind of grippy function of any, and you should be placing it flat on the table. I'm very naughty. I don't do that. So I press down a little bit, line it up till I'm happy, not there, and then punch. Again, just with the lining up of the clear photopolymer stamp sets that fill in. It's just take your time, don't rush. You shall get there. Bing, bang, boom. Sorry, I tend to talk less when I'm concentrating. Last one. There. Oh. And you can really change the look of this card by changing the colors. I've gone with very bright colors, so it's a very vibrant card. Oh, we have to get that. Oh, I'm sorry to hear you need surgery though, Jenny. Now, thinking. I'm going to use Blueberry Bushel cardstock for the card base. And the reason is, I have one here, side folding, but that's so good. The reason is because the Blueberry Bushel is the least color I've used in the stamping. I've also used it on the sentiment, so I thought it would be a really good way to tie everything in. Hi Angie and hi Renee. Welcome, welcome. I've been using my offset template so that you can do an offset wreath without any issues. Now I feel like this needs a double mount. No. Okay, leave it as, oh, flip. Oh, come on. It's just adding some glue to the back there. Okay, now you could just do the card as is. It's perfect. It can be sent. Oh, 6-month waiting list. Wow, Jenny. And that would be done. All we would need to add is panel on the inside, which I would prefer to stamp. Let's see, what shall we stamp? Let's do that. Let's do that stamping. I feel like the big red, or the lovely lipstick flower would go nicely with the leaf. So I'm going to kind of repeat some of the pattern that we had going. on the front of the card. But I like to cut it off the edges. Sorry, I can't not clean my stamp. Have to do it. Can't bring myself to leave it. The longer you leave it, the less it takes off. So that's why. You like the single mount? Good. It's done. Okay, stamping off. There we go. Clean. Clean, 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 clean. I'm going to add the leaf in. I'm getting ink. I have ink on my fingers. I do have ink marks on this project. I don't like that. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Just going to do the leaf. Ideally, you remember to decorate the inside of the card as you're stamping. And that way you don't have to pull out the stamps, the inks again, and of course there is also the envelope, which I can do later off screen. I'm going to place that leaf in there, clean that, and then there's the other little leaf. Off, stamp off, and then bing. Bing, bam, boom. Place that. There we go. So that's very cute in there. Now, to really add something else to your wreaths is by adding another layer of flowers or whatever it is that you're stamping with. You might not be using flowers. I tend to do flowers, but you can see if we're going to add those around, it makes the wreath fuller. I know I'm kind of covering up, and this is where I should have done this before I glued that, but that's okay. Now I'm going to grab dimensionals. I'm going to use the mini ones and do all the dimensioning. Dimensioning. It's not a funny word. Put all the dimensional. So I'm just adding the dimensional to the middle of each of those flowers. And then the idea is to try to place them in the exact same position. So I'm going to try to make sure I'm not covering up, letting some of those Grapefruit Grove flowers from the previous. And so if that's peeking through that bit, it's going to be peeking through and rotated a bit there. And this really just adds the next level of, I have done fruit. Sorry, totally random comment, but when we had the itty bitty fruit stamp set, I did a wreath with that. So it's not always flowers. You can make wreaths of any stamp set you have, really. Just keep following that pattern, and then we'll trim that off. I'm just going to use paper snips to trim that along the edge of the cardstock there. So that really just livens up the wreath a lot, having that extra layer. I know you're covering it up some bits, but that lovely lipstick is very bright. The Pineapple Punch is bright, but because we've only used it in the background on a small element, it doesn't jump out as much. But the lovely lipstick did stand out so much. By adding the extra flower on top in dimensional in lovely lipstick, it kind of tones down the lovely lipstick a little bit there. It's still there, and it's definitely a feature, but it's not so in your face as it was previously. But I want to bring it a little bit back in. I have a little bit left of the lovely lipstick Gross Grain. Is it Gross Grain ribbon? Can't remember what's the this one called? Anyway, I'm going to tie that into a bow. Let's use the fork trick. Could probably get more out of that, so I'm gonna. So the fork trick to tie bows is a really neat way of getting lots of lovely bows evenly tied. And the lower down your fork, because you can see my fork tapers a little bit, and the lower down you go on the fork, the bigger the bow. So you tie the bow and you pull it off the fork, and this cute little even bow that you can use, which I didn't tighten enough. There. And why is it not facing the right way? There we go. Just fiddle a little bit with it. And I really think by adding a bow to your wreath, just finishes it off nicely. I don't know what it is about it, but a bow on a wreath makes it so. There's it without the bow, and here it is with the bow. And it's just that little bit of extra. I know it's not a very big bow, and something, this card you could go with a bigger bow. I just don't have colours. Yeah, no, I'm going to stick with this one. And I'm going to use a glue dot to place it down. So grab glue dot, tend to press it into the glue dot, and that just really takes it to the next level. So there you have it. A wreath card, well, offset wreath card, so you're not using a larger piece of cardstock and having to trim it down to get it offset. It's already offset straight from the stamping, so that means that you're not losing. And then I found when I'm cutting out the bigger piece, I'm trimming so much and the cardstock can't be used because it's squished, and so I came up with this offset wreath. I'll share the template again. I will create it into a PDF so that people can easily print it off at home and use it, but I do apologize, it is currently only for A4 cardstock. So I do have a customer loyalty program. For every $50 you spend with me, you get a sticker, collect 10 stickers and get a free $50 product or combination of products up to the value of $50. To place an order with me and supporting me, thank you. You can do it in 3 ways: shopping online at bit.ly/shop with Tatiana with a capital S, W and T. The host code to receive a free gift with your purchase is 6J6CZFX4. And you can also place an order by messaging me or emailing me at stamping@tatianacreative.com.au. Thank you so much for spending some time with me, letting me share with you some fun stamping techniques and tricks. And I will catch you at my next live on Monday night, which is Fantastic Fun Folds. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and bye for now.